Let's be honest, most mobile games try to be serious, competitive, or just want your credit card info. But sometimes you just want to play something so stupidly funny that you actually forget you're playing on a phone. I'm talking about games where you're a literal piece of meat, a chaotic goat, or a guy trying to ruin his neighbor's life for no reason. If you're looking for high-level strategy, you're in the wrong place. But if you want to see the 10 most hilarious mobile games that will actually make you question your life choices, stay tuned. This is Tap Rank, and we're counting down the absolute funniest games of all time. Let's get into it. Kicking things off at number 10, we have Chicken Invaders 4. If you think space shooters are all about serious aliens and deep space drama, you clearly haven't been attacked by an intergalactic henpire. The plot is basically a poultry-themed revenge story, where space chickens build a planet-sized cannon to turn Earth into a giant omelet, all because we've eaten too many nuggets. The game is packed with hilarious parodies, like a character named Hen Solo, and you're constantly dodging giant eggs while setting your lasers to extra crispy. It's absolute chaos that makes you realize how ridiculous the war between man and chicken truly is. At number 09, we have a total classic, Neighbours from Hell. Think of this like Home Alone, but instead of protecting your house, you're the one breaking into a grumpy guy's home to ruin his entire afternoon for a TV audience. One reviewer called it the ultimate revenge fantasy, and they aren't kidding. The humor is pure slapstick gold. You're doing everything from putting laxatives in the neighbor's beer to sabotaging his favorite chair so it collapses under him. The funniest part isn't even the pranks themselves. It's watching the neighbor, Mr. Rottweiler, turn a shade of red you didn't know existed, while a literal laugh track plays in the background. It's stealthy, it's petty, and it's the only game that makes being a terrible neighbor feel like a professional career choice. At number 8, we've got Hill Climb Racing 2, a game that treats physics like a suggestion and the driver's neck like a wet noodle. The real comedy happens the moment you realize you've miscalculated a jump. Watching Bill's head snap back as he ragdolls into a mountainside never gets old. It's a racing game where the goal is to win, but the entertainment comes from losing in the most violent, rubbery way possible. Whether you're driving a school bus that's literally falling apart or a tractor trying to backflip, the sheer absurdity of the crashes is peak slapstick humor. You'll spend half your time trying to set a record, and the other half laughing at Bill face-planting into a mud pit at high speed.
Oh, this is a slice of life. Go back to the Bates Motel.
Number 07 is Kick the Buddy, which is essentially a digital stress ball that refuses to shut up. The whole premise is gloriously unhinged. You have this immortal burlap doll that just stands there while you throw everything from piranhas to nuclear strikes at him. The humor comes from the sheer escalation of it all. One second you're poking him with a pencil, and the next you're calling in a tactical airstrike just because he mocked your fashion sense. His voice lines are the real kicker though. He'll be getting pelted by lightning and still manage to sarcastically ask if that's the best you can do. It's the kind of game that turns total destruction into a hilarious daily routine, making you feel like a cartoon villain with way too much time on his hands. Coming in at number 06, we have Sausage Man, which is basically what happens if a battle royale and a backyard barbecue had a fever dream. Instead of hardened soldiers, you're playing as a sentient, heavily armed hot dog that can wear anything from a maid outfit to full samurai armor. It is impossible to stay focused during a firefight when you're watching a bratwurst in a tutu ride a fire-breathing dragon across the map. The physics are intentionally bouncy and ridiculous. When you get knocked down, you don't crawl for cover. You become a tiny, sobbing sausage crying for help. Between the absurd emotes and the fact that you can literally transform into a tactical toilet, it's the most chaotic and hilarious way to experience a shooter. At number 05, we have Devil's Attorney, a game that proves being a lawyer is 10% law and 90% buying a ridiculously expensive vanity plate for your sports car. You play as Max Seckman, a defense attorney whose ego is significantly larger than his moral compass. The humor is packed into the sharp, narcissistic dialogue and the absolute absurdity of the cases you defend. One minute, you're arguing that your client didn't actually steal a car because he was just borrowing it for a decade, and the next, you're using your legal fees to buy a disco ball for your apartment to boost your vanity stats. It's a hilarious satire of 80s glitz and legal dramas, where the goal isn't necessarily justice, it's just making sure Max looks incredibly cool while winning the most unwinnable cases. At number 04, we have BombSquad, a game that takes the phrase explosive personality way too literally. It's a multiplayer physics playground where the goal is basically to blow your friends into orbit while trying not to trip over your own feet. The humor comes from the hilarious ragdoll physics. You'll try to execute a heroic punch, miss entirely, and accidentally toss yourself off a cliff along with the TNT you were holding. Watching these little clay-like characters flail their arms and stumble around like they've had one too many juice boxes makes every round a chaotic mess of laughter. It's the only game where getting blown up by a stray landmine is just as funny as actually winning the match. At number 03, we have Stumble Guys, the game that turned falling over into a competitive sport. It's a massive multiplayer obstacle course where 32 people try to squeeze through a tiny door at the same time, usually resulting in a giant pileup of colorful beans. The humor is 100% in the physical comedy. There is nothing funnier than watching your character get absolutely yeeted across the map by a giant swinging hammer just as you were about to reach the finish line. It's chaotic, frustrating, and hilarious all at once, especially when you see a guy in a dinosaur suit try to jump a gap only to get smacked midair by a sliding block. It's pure slapstick chaos that makes failing almost more entertaining than actually winning. Number 02 brings us to Human Fall Flat, a game where your biggest enemy isn't a boss or a timer, it's your own limbs. You play as a wobbly dough-like character who moves like they've forgotten how bones work. The humor is purely accidental. You'll try to do something simple like open a door, but end up accidentally grabbing your friend's head and flinging both of you off a cliff. There's something inherently hilarious about watching a group of floppy humans try to solve a puzzle while stumbling around like toddlers in oversized onesies. It's a physics-based nightmare where every heroic leap usually ends with you face-planting into a wall, making it one of the funniest co-op experiences you can have on a phone.
Now, get out of my Skyrim cart and go to the Go Tower. Have fun. Please don't refund. Bye now.
Finally, at number 01, we have the King of Chaos, Goat Simulator 3. This isn't just a game, it's a glitchy, beautiful disaster where you play as a goat that can headbutt cars, grind on rails, and somehow drive a tractor. The humor comes from the fact that the developers clearly threw the rulebook out the window. One minute you're headbutting an innocent bystander, and the next you've accidentally triggered a cosmic event that turns the entire town upside down. It's a sandbox of, wait, I can do that moments, like licking a hang glider to hitch a ride or wearing a jetpack that sends you spiraling into a skyscraper. It's the ultimate hilarious game because it embraces every bug and absurdity, making it the most fun you'll ever have being a farm animal.
And there you have it, the ultimate lineup of games that prove physics is just a suggestion and common sense doesn't exist. Honestly, if you can get through a round of Sausage Man or Goat Simulator without wondering what's wrong with the world, you're stronger than I am. If you enjoyed this descent into madness, hit that like button and subscribe to TapRank so you don't miss our next countdown. Now I want to know, which game on this list would actually make you throw your phone in frustration or laughter? Let's settle it in the comments. Thanks for watching. Try not to get kicked by a buddy today, and I'll see you in the next video.